I was talking about why I'm so hopeful. And the reason I'm hopeful is because everybody that's in the conservative movement knows what's at stake. Everybody that's in the woke movement doesn't know why they're doing what they're doing, and they haven't even met friction. They haven't met any friction. They're being patted on the back. And like you just said a second ago, they have started doing this with their hands 3 months ago, and now they're like, oh, thank God, everything's back to. And then what's gonna happen? Boom! Trump's back, bitch. And it's gonna be like, yeah. Remember the meme that shook the world? Yeah, that kid. It's gonna be times 5.
Man, it's Tuesday night. A lot has gone down in the last 48 hours. I'm sure we're going to have plenty to talk about. Bella, again, it's always amazing to see you. And for you guys don't know, Bella is, and I had a podcast today, which this podcast is going to come out tomorrow. So if you don't follow, you don't subscribe to the Speak Truth Without Fear podcast, we're on Apple. We're not on Spotify yet. But I had a podcast today with Linda, Wake Up with Linda. And I mean, I'm sure you're going to get into a lot of the stuff that would happen over the last week because, man, Bella and Linda, and Rob, 3 great friends that I've met over the last, 2 months. I mean, what they're doing in Miami is just incredible. And a lot of you guys might know of the 3-step PDF that we made, which if you don't know about it, it's basically a 1-page PDF that really Linda, Bella and Rob have all been doing in Miami for the last couple of months. And, I met with them. I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And we turned what they're doing into a 1-page PDF that basically teaches everyone, when you have this page, you can it teaches you how to practically pressure your local government officials, how you find them, and we've talked about this a lot over the last month. And so if you don't have that document, all you got to do is go to speaktruthwithoutfear.com. Put in your email. We're going to send it to you right away. We don't have to mail it to you or anything. It's literally right there. Again, I don't care about the email. It's just the easiest way for us to give it to you. So do that. And then again, we'll have a couple announcements in that email. We just launched the new Speak Truth Without Fear podcast, which me and Ross are doing every single week. They drop on Wednesdays and Fridays. So there is a lot going on. And so if you really want to stay in tune with what we're doing, it's the best way that we can really connect with you. And we have a couple cool announcements that we are working on some really cool stuff. And so it's the best way to stay in tune. But yeah, Bella is the one that, everything that's in that document, when you open up the document, Bella is she is one of the organizers that literally put this system together. They've been doing it. And we're going to talk about this because there's new updates of what's going on in Miami. And seriously, if you don't follow Bella, you need to. Wes, I'm so glad we haven't had Wes on here in
it's been like a month. What are you doing? No, just kidding. I'm just playing.
No, it's true. So Wes is one of Speak Truth Without Fear's business partners, and Wes is I met Wes through he has a podcast and a daily show, and he asked me to join his show. This was right after January 6th. This is how we got connected, and me and Wes became great friends. He just moved down to Orlando, so we're working together a lot. So a lot of the stuff, the systems that you see in place that are happening with Speak Truth Without Fear, Wes is really helping us and bring a structure. So he is one of our business partners with Speak. Okay, my Apple Watch and Siri's trying to talk to me in my AirPod right now. Satan,
be careful what you're saying, Jordan. Be careful what you're saying. Big text listening.
China.
It's China. I know my AirPods just disconnected too. Awesome. Hold on. This commercial is brought to you by Apple. So Wes is a business partner. He's working every single day with me and Ross the boss, and he's the man. So Wes, thanks for hopping on. And then again, you guys know Ross the boss. So let's get into it. Before we get into what's going down in Miami, I talked about this last night, but this is so good. I just have to bring this up again because again, I feel like the media is just trying to distract with every single headline possible to distract what is going on right now in New Hampshire, Arizona, and Georgia. So I don't know if you guys know about this because John Fredericks released this report yesterday. And I brought this up in the live yesterday, but I'm going to bring this up one more time. If you guys don't know who John Fredericks is, look him up. He's like he is the biggest conservative talk show host in all of Georgia. So listen to this. First of all, New Hampshire, really quick. New Hampshire, we have huge errors. See, even the dogs agree with me on this.
China.
China. So New Hampshire, they're doing a small forensic audit right now in New Hampshire. There was huge error reports coming back from the machines that they were using, which now the local officials are like, oh my gosh, we have to look into this. This is actually bigger than what we thought. There actually might be some way more fraud than we expected. So that's the first thing. But let's get into Georgia, and I want to hear what you guys think. What's your thoughts? John Fredericks reported this yesterday, that 6 affidavits were submitted yesterday. And confirming everything, and this is the report that was in these 6 affidavits. There are 2 senators that now, because of these 6 affidavits, that are calling for the Georgia Bureau of Investigation to go side by side from here on out through the rest of this forensic audit. What is this audit? What is going down in this audit? There is 130,000 ballots that are being audited right now in Fulton County. Now, the first report from these 130,000 ballots just came back through these 6 affidavits. And because of these reports, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation is being called into. Here are the discrepancies, or whatever you want to call them. Number one, 30,000 of these 130,000 ballots, they have different paper than the other 100,000. Different paper. It's not the official. It's like, this is gonna get so good. You're not even gonna believe what I'm about to tell you. Like, it is, again, when people tell me, why do you believe the election was stolen? Like, okay, we don't have to talk about the random white van in Michigan. We don't got to talk about the briefcases that were rolled out under the table in Georgia. We don't got to talk. Let's not even talk about that. Let's just talk about what these 6 affidavits reported. So number one, 30,000 of these 130,000, different paper. Number 2, this is a kicker. And these 130,000 ballots are mail-in ballots, specifically mail-in ballots. All 30,000 of these ballots that are on different paper have no creases. They were never folded. So how the heck do you send 30,000 ballots in the mail when there's no creases?
Ladies and gentlemen, the ballot is bigger than a mailbox.
Literally. So you have papers that are this big that have never been folded, but they've been mailed out? No. Every single mail-in ballot has to go in the seal, then it's sealed and goes into another envelope, and there's creases in these mail-in ballots. If you receive a letter, when you open up the letter, there's creases to show that they have been bent. These 30,000 ballots that are on different paper have no creases. Gets better. Number 3, on these 30,000 ballots, guess the percentage. Oh, I won't even get to that yet. On these 30,000 ballots, all of the circles that were filled in, none of them were done by pen or pencil. They were all done by a machine. All 30,000 of them. So there wasn't a paper. There wasn't someone that filled them in. They're all perfectly matched, just like a machine would. So there's literally no circle outside or ink outside the circle. Check this out. Out of these 30,000 ballots, guess the percentage of how many of 100% of these 30,000 ballots. What do you think the percentage is that went for Biden?
100%.
99%.
Wow.
99%.
I'm pretty sure whatever percentage was missing is because the system didn't read it correctly and not because it was an actual vote for Trump, is what I'm assuming.
That's the actual 1% of margin of error. That's probably what that literally was. 99% of these 30,000 ballots, I'm doing the recap again because I want to get this in all of your brains. 99% of these 30,000 ballots that were on different paper, they were all filled in by a machine. Not one human person filled it in, and they have no creases. Were all 99% voting Joe Biden. Out of these 130,000 ballots, 950 of them were military. Guess how many of these 950 ballots that were military voted for Joe Biden?
I'm going to say
950.
950. 900. First of all, we all know the military side's more conservative and was voting Trump. The fact that all 950 ballots that have been audited in Fulton County voted for Joe Biden. Oh, and the last thing I forgot to say is the 99% wasn't just Joe Biden. It was also Ossoff, or however the hell you say his name. So again, this is groundbreaking to me. I mean, this is going, and what the two senators are calling, this is the reason why two senators, this isn't coming from some random report. These are 6 affidavits from government officials in Georgia, and it sounded the alarm for the local senators in Georgia. They're saying, we need the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. We need them in right now. There is some craziness going down in Fulton. We have to get to the bottom of this. And what the senators called for, they said, this needs to lead to a full-on forensic audit in Georgia. And when it does, we are going to ask Governor Kemp to call a special session. And if we find what we think that we are going to find, we are going to ask for a special session to this is coming from the senators, not me, decertify the election in Georgia.
Yep. This is bigger than Arizona.
Yes, guys.
This is bigger than Arizona. So again, I say all of that. The media wants to distract us with COVID and, you know, the jab. They want to focus. What'd you say?
They've literally been talking about aliens. That's how you know it's getting real. When they start talking about aliens in mainstream media, you know they're really bringing out the big guns to distract us.
Yeah. Pentagon
like
just released aliens
out of the box.
No one's even
They start scraping the bottom of the box. They're like, shit, aliens, aliens.
Well, and even Jack Posobiec tweeted this last week. I believe it was him. He said, he goes, just watch, wait for the alien headlines to start to come out. This is going to be a distraction. And again, all they're doing, this is what media does. They want us to look over here so that we're not actually focused on what's on target. And Arizona is the target. Georgia is the target. We have to stay focused and make sure that we're pressuring our government officials. If you live in Georgia, you call your senators, you call your congressmen, you call your councilman, you call your mayor and say, hey, we want to get to the bottom of what is going on.
I think if there's anywhere that's really, really important for people to get involved in local government right now, it's those states that have the issues with the election.
Yeah.
I think that's the place that we really need to organize.
Yep. It's Ross. What do you think about the Georgia mania?
Oh man, I mean, this is kind of like a slow boil. You know, it's like a slow boil, and I'm waiting for China to drop a nuke on Arizona and Georgia and be like, ain't shit happened. If you ain't alive, you can't contest the damn election. You know, like, I mean, like that'll be next, right? But like,
Instagrammer being sarcastic. I know you're going to try to figure out a way that this is a violent organization. Okay, we're joking.
Yeah, that's a joke, CIA. Take a far-reaching hike. I know there's parents who have their 9-year-old kids watching this, so that was a freaking hike, guys. But so yeah, I mean, I think it's a slow boil. I think everybody that's been on team no fraud is having to eat their words a little bit. But not yet. Not yet. We're going to serve it to them nice and cold, you know, slowly, just kind of let them know a little bit after a little bit. And then pretty soon when one state decertifies, then we'll just start lobbing it on heavy. Every one of your relatives, you just trickle it in the conversation. How's Gigi? Do you know that Georgia stopped their election results, actually? Yeah, turns out there's quite a bit of fraud. Did you see that? Do you remember when you called me a crazy Nazi like 6 months ago? Yeah, there was fraud.
Conspiracy theorists. I mean, you Ross, you made, your videos that were first popping when you went from 300 followers to 40K in like 3 months was literally the conspiracy theorist videos. Because again, the left and the media, they have used the conspiracy theorist title to and they slap it on everything that is against their narrative.
Yeah.
And to their credit, it worked. You know,
it worked.
It completely worked.
Yeah, it worked. And you know how stupid we have to be at this point. If you're a United States American citizen, if you're a citizen of this country, and you still think that people aren't trying to kill you, and like meaning big corporations and government are not trying to end human life to some degree and are concerned with lessening your suffering, you are in a fairyland.
Yeah.
Like full blown. They've stifled your vote, called you crazy when you like. Here's the thing that nobody wants to talk about, and I'm not saying anything's justified, but the degree of how appropriate January 6th was hinges on how accurate the election was.
Ooh, that's
If
so
the,
true.
if the election was actually inaccurate, I think it might be constitutionally and historically accurate to say the response on January 6th was underwhelming.
Wow. That's
That's
so
the truth for us.
true.
You were offended then? Get ready, baby, because when we find out it's true, we're going to pray very hard on our knees and do no violence whatsoever.
Making
It's a good ending to it.
Yeah. Bella, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I kind of I've known it's been a ticking time bomb for some time now. So if you guys remember, a few weeks prior to January 6th, Trump was asked, he was at some event, and he made a comment along the lines of, they're gonna run out the clock. That's the only thing that they've got left, is to run out the clock, and that's the plan. And I think that that's what we've been seeing, right? So what a lot of people didn't realize is there was a couple of like heartbreaks, I guess, that people considered those that first quarter of the year, because they're like, oh, these cases are not being looked at by the Supreme Court. And it's because the state courts weren't doing what they were supposed to, and things need to follow a particular process. So it never got to the Supreme Court because state courts weren't doing what they were supposed to. Arizona is one of the few places right now that said, no, we have to do what's the right thing, right?
Right.
So that's going to open up the door for, like Ross mentioned earlier, things are just going to start stacking up. This is going to be dominoes. All the dominoes have been stacked up, and they've only been waiting for the right opportunity. So what a lot of people don't realize is, I think there was something like 800 or 700 high cases that were were waiting to be seen in courts, and they were just letting the clock run out, and months go by and months go by and months go by. Why? Because the further away we get from inauguration day to overturning results, then the more unbelievable the entire thing seems, right? The more pissed off people become. Now you've had this guy pretending to go up there, creepy's up there pretending to be president for 8 months now. So there's right. There's a lot of things that are going on at that point. We're talking about end of summer, that people are predicting that this might all blow up, right? So I think that was always their plan from the beginning. The cheating is so outlandish, and I don't think it catches anybody by surprise that was out there that saw the campaign the year leading up to summer of 2020 was so intense. You couldn't turn on the internet, no matter how much the media tried to suppress it. In every city, in every county, every small city all across America, parades of millions of people showing up. We had millions of people show up to a car rally out here. Just a regular car rally on any day, when we were having them every single weekend out here in Miami. People were heavily involved. There's no way. I think that once the election results come in, we're going to realize that the fraud went so far that a lot of states that we would have considered blue. So I wouldn't be surprised if California, Oregon, New York, who knows if every single state turned red, and that information has been kept from us. And I think that was always part of the plan. Run out the clock as much as you can, so that then you can get people real hyped up, the opposition, real hyped up, when you tell them, hey, guess what? That win, it was a fake one. We're going to have to take that from you, and then create, which is really what I foresee. I'm more concerned about what's going to happen when everything is proven to be false, because it will be, and the election will have to be decertified, because it will be. And then the problem is that all of these people have now been brainwashed to believe that they got rid of Trump, they never got to worry about this guy again, boom, it's going to come back. It's like an activation switch that the left is waiting for, to turn these people into absolute like zombies of chaos, which is what I feel is going to ensue once the election results come in. And I don't just foresee that on like a regular civilian level. I foresee that we're going to see stuff get really ugly. We're going to see a split in our military. We're going to see a split in our in Congress. We're just going in our intelligence agencies. We're going to see like the prophecy of the two presidents. We're going to actually see that come to life this year.
So true. It's so true. I mean, I actually mentioned this because I remember I got this from you. You said the thing I'm most worried about is when all this truth comes out, it's not going to be easy. Like, yes, we can celebrate or we can say told you so. It's going to be scary, especially we're already seeing the military be politicized right now. We saw the space commander that just got, released, fired for speaking out against Marxism, not the Constitution, not like the values of America, like Marxism. And so to say, we've already seen our intelligence community be politicized. We've already seen the Justice Department, the FBI, they have all been politicized. To think that, don't be naive to think that the deep state or whatever the hell you want to call them, don't have people deep into the military, because they do. And so that's
they do. But you know what? The thing that everybody needs to remember is that we're fighting for something bigger than they are. I was talking with John Lawson and Blue Collar Ben on their show, like, I don't know, a week ago or something, and I was talking about why I'm so hopeful. And the reason I'm hopeful is because everybody that's in the conservative movement knows what's at stake. Everybody that's in the woke movement doesn't know why they're doing what they're doing, and they haven't even met friction. They haven't met any friction. They're being patted on the back. And like you just said a second ago, they have started doing this with their hands 3 months ago, and now they're like, oh, thank God, everything's back to. And then what's gonna happen? Boom! Trump's back, bitch. And it's gonna be like, yeah. Remember the meme that shook the world? Nah, that kid. It's gonna be times 5.
Yeah.
Everywhere, and all of us are gonna be having the biggest "I told you so" flag in history. And even if nothing happens, as far as like Trump getting back in August or whatever, fine. We were right, though. And to question the election integrity was actually just. And you can't take that from us. We were right. Every one of you that thought this and said something to a family member and said something to a friend and felt ostracized and alienated and alone and stupid and immature and like you were radicalized, you were right the whole time.
And a great example of this was, we remember a year ago when Trump was being interviewed. I don't know if you guys have seen these videos that came out in the last couple of days, where Trump a year ago was talking about how he has seen evidence that the leak of COVID was leaked from the Wuhan lab of virology. And and what did they do? CNN and all the mainstream media through gaslit everything. Trump is a conspiracy theorist, this and that. And I know conservative people on Twitter, on Instagram, they lost their accounts for pushing that conspiracy theorist. And what just came out yesterday, that the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times wrote a piece saying it looks like that COVID-19 was leaked out from the Wuhan lab of virology. And again, but what happened a year ago? Conspiracy theorists. That has been their weapon of defense for everything. But all of these leaks and the provings of everything that we've talked about over the last year, we're going to start seeing them come out. True. And when this happens, the media is going to lose, because what happens when people on the left are like, hold on, Trump was right about that. He was right about the leak of COVID. He was right. I mean, everything. You're not going to be able to label people conspiracy theorists anymore. And this election thing is going to be a wake-up call. This isn't conspiracy theorists. These are actual government officials signing affidavits, literally putting their jobs on the line in official reports. Bella.
You know what's a huge deal that a lot of people just don't seem to realize, that it's part of the domino effect? Dominion machines are used all over the world, including the elections in Venezuela. So this is going to set off a chain of events that affects the globe, the world. It affects the entire world. It's not just something that's going to affect the U.S. because once you can prove that the highest office in the free world was stolen, then it's real easy to start questioning, elections being stolen in these third world countries with the same technology or strategy.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And so, I mean, again, the media has literally done everything they can do to suppress the truth. I mean, and we've seen this in the last 48 hours, Ross and Wes, with Speak Truth Without Fear. We've had our own, PayPal emailed us 2 days ago, closing down our account, freezing the funds, not letting us access the funds for 6 months. And the only explanation in the email was, you are a risk to our organization. you know, again, my Instagram live yesterday, because I posted a screenshot of a tweet from a CNN contributor, and I was calling out the hate of him saying that the world needs another Hitler. Like, I was calling out the hate, and again, what they're doing is they're trying to suppress the truth, but eventually when the truth comes out, it will set all of us free.
It's what's happening is it's like really shitty cops in a really small town, and they're like, they have a meeting behind closed doors, and they're like, guys, we just put 75 new stupid little infractions on the books. If a tire touches a yellow line, you can take them to jail, and you can whatever. So all social media is like, the word Hitler came out of your mouth. That's all we needed. And it's just like, and then they put you in the pending file where they're going to look at your case 6 months from now. And it's just like, dude, you bastards. You tell me millions and millions of dollars goes into your hands and you don't have somebody watching who you ban that has 40,000 followers? You think?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Their agenda is vulnerable. Their agenda, like, if you really look at it, why would you need to cancel people? Why would you need to try to block every little thing that can potentially like harm this agenda that you have if it wasn't so vulnerable, right? If it was strong, if it had many legs to it, you would have no issues. Exactly. But because it's so easy to break down, they have to shut every little person out to make sure that nothing gets further than what they want to get further. And so that's why now they're doing what they're doing. The left has counted on us to stay silent. So they said, this is how it's always been. We'll overwhelm them with a lot of things. We'll overwhelm them with BLM going crazy, with Antifa going crazy. And then what conservatives will do, they'll just stay silent and move on because they don't want to deal with the headaches. But they didn't count on all of us waking up for the first time and saying, we're not going to lose this. We're not going to let our country get taken over. And we're going to take our country back. And that's exactly what's happening right now. And that's why they have to cancel a PayPal account, because they got to shut you down. They want you. So like you remember yesterday, Jordan, as soon as you couldn't go live on Instagram, you were frustrated, right? Like it hit you and you were frustrated. What they're counting on right there is that you get so frustrated and you're like, you know what, screw this whole political thing. I don't want to talk about this stuff anymore. I just want to move on with my life. I'm going to go do something else that's easier. But they don't realize that you're just going to find another way to make it happen. That's what they weren't counting on.
Dude, they pissed off the wrong one, boy. I'm telling you. I will single-handedly. I'm ready, bro. I don't know what happened to me over the last year, but homeboy is ready. And you can't beat me in an argument, dog. I know more than you lefties. You don't know anything. You never know anything. And we are going to win because the truth is like a lion. When you set it free, it defends itself, and you don't know what you're talking about in any of the situations that you've complained about in the whole last year. Let alone the last 5. Love you liberals, but lefties, bruh, y'all got another thing coming, dog.
They do. They really do. So we're all right. So we're gonna. I mean, I could talk about the election for so long, man. I think all of this. The reason why we're talking about this is why it's so important that all of us get involved on a local level. And we're at the 30-minute mark. So if you're just joining in, because I see that our numbers, you know, a lot more people are signing on. We just talked about. In a quick recap about what is going down in Georgia. If you don't know, you can look up at the Populist Press. There's a ton of articles about it that the Georgia Bureau of Investigation has been called because there are some massive discrepancies in the forensic audit that's going down in Fulton County. So look that up. Real quick, one quick announcement, and then we're going to start talking about what's going on in Miami. Is tonight in 30 minutes at 10 p.m. I've seen the comments about it, so I just want to bring it up. In 30 minutes, right after this Instagram Live, we are going to be having another Instagram Live. Ross is going to host this one on his channel. I'm going to be hopping on my personal one because I can join his. And we are going to be bringing on Nurse Erin, which if you guys know, she's like one of the leaders that really stands for medical freedom. And we're going to talk about a lot of good stuff. So just if you want to stay with us for another hour and 30 minutes, we're going to be doing that. So Bella, Miami. I've been watching your videos. I mean, you guys had, I believe it was a school board meeting, which looked lit. I wish I was there because the videos you were posting, I'm like, oh my gosh, the dad. I mean, I'm seeing the men step up, which is what I freaking love because normally it's like all the, and I love that, you know, women are being involved and the moms are there, but it's really nice to see the dads. Like I'm seeing these macho dudes like going in and people are waking up. Like they really are waking up. We're seeing it all over the nation. So what is going on in Miami? To give us an update.
Yeah, we were really stoked to see the dads out there too. I think it was really impactful to see. Moms are usually involved. I think for the most part, even all of us that run accounts, we noticed that our following tend to be more women than men, and that's just across the board for all of us. So it was really nice to see the dads involved. You know what's happening? It's interesting because you know it has to be said, I've never been involved in politics prior to all of this unfolding, right? It's, you see an opportunity, you see that somebody has to get involved, you don't see anybody else rise up, so you end up getting involved. So all of this is brand new to me. And you know, what we're coming across, one of the biggest challenges that we're actually realizing, which is one that's kind of being echoed across the entire country, is that, you know, the school board has so much control over the formation of just our country as a whole, right? So it's not just that they're pushing now masks or that they're pushing the shot on kids. We're talking about critical race theory and just pushing these Marxist views, building an entire generation of these like Marxist ideas, right? So you go in there and you're like, all right, well, it's simple enough. Let's fight the school board on this. Well, here's the more effed up part, if you will. The school boards are actually being controlled by the teachers' unions. So the teachers' unions are having more of a say over what your kids get taught, or if your kids have to wear a mask. The ones that are working with the CDC to make sure that your kids are required to take the shot or are going to school virtually or whatever it may be. These are decisions that are being made by the union. So we had our superintendent make a decision. He had 2 weeks left in the school year. He said, we're going to make masks optional outdoors. Fair enough, right? We're going to make it optional. We said that's a great idea. We think that that's awesome. In fact, we're so excited that you would do that. Now we just want you to extend it for the ongoing school year. And whatever, we went out there, we went to the school board, we had so much to say. What we found out later on, school board meeting was on a Wednesday. On Tuesday, they had already made a decision based off a meeting that they had with the union that they were going to take back the mask optional for those last 2 weeks of school and make them mandatory outdoors. So this is after a meeting with the school board. They sat on that information on Tuesday so that they wouldn't release it prior to the parents getting there on Wednesday. They didn't make the announcement until Thursday. So these people are really strategic of what it is that they're doing. They knew that they were going to have a big turnout with parents because there was already a petition that had been signed. So they knew they were expecting the big turnout to be out there. And in an effort to, I guess, control, you know, what the parents were going to say or how angry people were going to be, they sat on this news where they were going to take back the optional side of the mask for the kids, right? And it's been a really big wake-up call from the meeting. Again, this is why it's so important to be involved, because you need to be able to identify these people. So as we're sitting in the school board meeting, we realized that, you know, people start talking and it's like, hey, that's the president of the union. And she's sitting in that meeting and she's wearing her mask, and she goes up to speak and basically calls every parent there an alt-right conspiracy theorist.
There it is. Conspiracy theorist.
Alt-right conspiracy theorist that believed that the election was fraudulent and stolen, and that they believed in you know, in all sorts of outlandish things. And that you know, there was no credibility there, and that the kids needed to remain masked up until there was a shot. That was her speech. Then she went ahead and tweeted out to her thousands of followers that an alt-right fascist group had taken over the school board meeting. So it was just, you know, it was really shocking. And if there's anything that I can stress right now is, especially, I don't know if you guys recall a couple of months ago where the media was all over it. Joe Biden met with the student union and said that that meeting was what he was basing his plan out for schools on. That was going to be what decided whether or not the masks were optional or whatnot. It's after he has this meeting with the school union. So if there's anything that I can stress right now is that it's not just enough to get involved with your local officials. Like, we're talking about unions, lobbyists, donors to big campaigns. These are the people that own the politicians, and the politicians aren't answering to you as a citizen. I think our school board meeting was a perfect example of that, where you have our elected officials sit on a bit of news to release it 2 days later so that they wouldn't have to face the people directly.
Right.
They're more scared of answering to the people that pay for their campaigns or they donate money to their BS than they are in answering to parents. And I think that that's something that's actually being echoed across the entire country. That's not just a Miami thing. That's happening in every county across the nation.
Well, it feels like these school boards they listen to the unions. They're not listening to the children's parents who they're supposed to represent, which is
Yes.
completely backwards.
Yeah. Well, if I can ask Bella one question, how much do the unions affect the salaries of people, you know, in the school system and all that? Like, how much effect do they have on wages?
So I think that what it has more to do with is that the union sponsors candidates, and they'll back their campaign, so they help them get elected.
Gotcha.
And therefore, it's kind of like, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. I helped you get elected. Therefore, now you need to listen to the teachers union because we can pull back and make sure that you don't get elected the following year, right? So they count on those endorsements from the student union.
Gotcha. So they're buying the people that are gonna do their bidding, essentially.
Basically the way that it goes. They're
Well, yeah. So unions, generally speaking, I work with unions for a long time. They operate a lot of the times. The people that are actually paying union dues and all that. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah, you sound perfect.
Okay, good. So the union dues and all that are generally speaking like that goes into a fund, and then they decide how to spend that as like the union president and the vice president and the board and all them of the unions decide how to spend the bukus of union dues that they have and other things. And so, yeah, they get the person elected and they go, hey, our teachers are the ones who paid your way to get into office. So when shit hits the fan about the fact that we were taking our teachers and our union's advice instead of parents, we're going to need you to make sure nothing gets criminal.
Yep, exactly. And I've been, so Bella, what are you guys doing now? Because I mean, I've been watching your guys' Instagrams, and you guys have been pretty much putting this lady, what's her name? She's the head of the state union.
Carla Matz. So, we've been bringing a lot of attention to her. And here's the thing, one of the biggest things that we have going against us as conservatives is the lack of control over the narrative. We don't own the media. We don't own Hollywood. We don't own sports. We don't own big tech. And therefore, we're automatically at a disadvantage. So one of the few very powerful things that we have is actually our voices, our platforms, right? Individuals with followings like ours, people that go out there and they want to listen. They know that we're involved, so they want to listen to what it is that we have to say. And, I've been calling on it for some time. Research, like actual journalism, what journalism used to be, when you used to go out there and research information. Like, it's not just about getting a dirt on a politician. It's like, is this a person with morals that can really run this kind of position? And there's no fair journalism right now that gives people that kind of idea over their local politicians or whatnot. So we're at a point where you need to be doing your own digs and you need to be doing your own research. So it's not enough to know who's on your school board. Do you know who's donating to their campaign? Do you know who they're, I think I spoke about it on one of the last podcasts that we were in. Rosie, sorry, my dog. Rosie, come here. Come here. So one of the things that, I ended up finding, my mayor ended up, I think, raising a little over $1 million for her entire, a little close to $2 million. No, I'm sorry. It was significantly more than that. But I ended up looking at all of her donors. The average donation for my mayor was anywhere between $1,000 to $10,000. And then out of nowhere, there's this one donation for $500,000, two donations for $150,000, and one for $200,000 from the same guy, right? So I go in, almost $1 million donated into a local mayor campaign. I go in, and this guy is one of, up there with Soros as far as the control that they have over politics. Has donated millions of dollars to the Clinton campaign, connected to Epstein, owns an island next to Epstein. Wow. So we're talking about a real swampy individual that you would maybe link back to a Clinton or somebody high up on a federal level or whatnot. And this guy is pumping dollars, big money, into a local campaign. Why? Wow. Why does Donald Sussman care about who the mayor of Miami is? Those are the questions. So when you look at the elections, they didn't steal the entire country. They didn't steal every state. They didn't have to steal every county to steal the election. They were very strategic with what they did, which is that they stole some counties. And the counties that they stole more than likely are counties that they were able to control. What does that mean? a mayor that was under their control, a judge that they could influence, a legislator that could run some kind of last minute laws to change voting regulations so that they can get away with the fraud. And it works perfectly because you have enough people bought within that area. And, if there's one person bought in your city, chances are there's going to be more than one. And what I'm starting to realize is that some cities are a lot more coveted than others by these globalists. And Miami, being the major hub that it is incredibly targeted right now. And when we say swamp, it's not just DC. The swamp runs very local and very deep.
Yeah, and we saw that in those 5 specific states. I mean, when people say, "Do you really believe there was like fraud all over the nation?" No, I believe it was pretty much done in 5 or 6 states. And within those states, there was probably a couple cities that they focused on because they were Democratic strong. I mean, it's not a coincidence that every single city, that majority where all of the confliction is, and all the conspiracy is in literally Democratic run states. Fulton County, which we've always had issues with. Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, one of the most corrupt cities in America. Like, there is a reason. And and I love what you said about the legislators, because I mean, I think we saw that in all 5 states where the governor changed voting laws and then bypassed the legislators, and it's the legislators' responsibility to step up and say, "Hey, hold on, you're not allowed to do that." But they didn't do that, and the reason why is probably alluding to exactly what Bella is saying here. So we got about 15 minutes left. So what are you guys doing in a practical sense? I know you guys are pressuring them on social media. What if you're talking to someone that's working 9 to 5, and this can be open discussion, everyone, Ross, Wes, please chime in. Someone that's working 9 to 5, they got 30 minutes a day or 15 minutes a day of something that they can do, or they can maybe make one meeting a month. What is that meeting? What would you encourage people to do?
Yeah, so the number one most important thing that I would tell everybody to do, which is on the PDF that we put together and something that I talk about often, is you're here, you're listening to this podcast right now, you are online, you're looking at your influencers, you're looking at whatever it is. Follow your politicians online, follow the school board, follow the head of the union. It might be a little hard at first and challenging to find out who all of these individuals are. It's going to take research, but we've all got to come to the reality that we're in, which is that the information isn't going to come from anywhere else. I'm one person. I live in Miami-Dade County. I cannot tell you what's going on in the other 49 states. I have no way of knowing that, much less in every. So it's going to have to be up to each individual to really take that accountability. But the single most important thing that anybody can do, given the digital times that we're in right now, is make sure that you're following every single last politician on social media, and that you're encouraging your followers within your local area to also follow these politicians.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what views they hold. Everybody should want to hold these people accountable. Now, even more important than your local politicians are the individuals that are calling the shots and aren't elected officials.
Right.
So your unions are important. Lobbyists are important. Donors, go out there. Donating information for your local politicians is public information. You can check out a donation list, guys, and it's not that difficult. Sort it by donation number. If every donation is 1,000, 10,000, 1,000, 10,000, and out of nowhere you see a $500,000 donation, go in there, check, backtrace, follow the money, see where it's coming from. Because more often than not, it leads back to something dark. Once you've discovered that that's the case, and it's about applying pressure, and we need to get together to do that. So what do these people care about right now? Well, we've been sleeping for a very long time. So maybe you've never really had to fight to maintain your seat. Maybe it's real easy to buy your seat because nobody's ever fought you for it.
Right.
So you need to apply pressure. You need to let them know and start campaigns to either start recalling these individuals, which is something very easy to do locally, or campaigning against them and finding individuals within your community that are going to run against these individuals. For the most part.
I can, really quick. I mean, again, the reason that the reason where we are today, where, a lot of us we're nervous, or we're kind of freaking out. We're like, oh my gosh, we feel like we're losing our country. We can blame the left. We can blame the Democrats. We can blame those politicians. But again, really, it falls on us. Like, we have been sleeping. We have not been involved. I mean, and I think there's 170 people on this Instagram Live right now. Like, all of you guys. I mean, and seriously, in this document, step number 1, it literally gives you a website where you put in your address. You're going to find those you're going to find all of those people in your district. And then on top of that, if let's say the website can't find it, we give you the 5 positions at the bottom of the PDF that shows you which positions, which positions, like the city council, mayor, school board, which ones you want to find so that you can start pressuring or showing up to those meetings. But we have to start being the change, and we can make reels. Me and Ross and Bella and Wes, we can make videos and Instagram lives and do all this. But if we're not actually getting involved and taking action, then we are the ones to blame. No one else is to blame. And I really don't want to hear any more complaining, because I'm kind of past the point. And me and Ross have said this a couple times, that we're like, I'm done with debating with people on the other side. I just am. I don't want to, it gets nowhere. I'd rather take the 3 or 4 hours that all of you guys probably spend a week on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram going back and forth with people on the left and trying to make your point, which at the end of the day, it does nothing. Take that same energy and focus it over here.
Yeah, and put it in the official account of people who spoke up in the governmental sense. Like, you think these little lefties that you argue with, like, the people that you're arguing with on Facebook are probably better at arguing than the actual mayor of your city. Like, just go ham, and you'll win. They can't. Like, how do you explain it? If it was me and somebody was normally giving me $1,000, and then somebody gave me 500 G's, and you grilled me about it, and we're like, "How'd you get that?" I would be like,
Yep.
I didn't think you checked this.
They've never had to deal with that before. So these people have been sitting on their seats, comfortable, chilling. They're like, I've never had to worry about anybody asking me where my money comes from, what I'm doing with it, who my friends are. It's all about getting that. And here's another thing. The election is going to be, I believe it, the fraud's going to be exposed. And then what? We get 4 years of Trump. Cool. Congratulations. We're going to get 4 years of Trump. What happens after that? What happens when we allow the same corrupt, swampy government, the same oligarchy to continue to go on, because everybody else thinks, us regular people think that there's somebody smarter or more qualified or more, or more involved than they are to get. No, that's not what it is. You're a member of your community. That's enough.
100%.
That's enough for you to run for public office.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a couple people walk me through the whole process that we're telling everybody else to do, and then I'm going to get it recorded the whole time that I do it, so other people can watch me do it. And then we'll get some cameras to go with me into one of, like, the city capitol or something when we go to a meeting.
That'd be awesome.
I think that's a great idea to get people out there, because it is uncomfortable. A lot of this is brand new to a lot of people. So you walk in and they try to take advantage of you. They told us in the school board meeting, we only had 90 minutes assigned. If it's not because some other parent has been there, they're like, yeah, but they can extend that. So tell them to extend it. But they try to take advantage of you because they're like, you guys don't know. No.
You
got to take over government.
Always. Yeah, that's always the way. You give them an inch and they take a mile, dude. It's like a big sales gig.
Right.
Literally. Go ahead, Wes.
If I can add one thing, and first of all, guys, I apologize if my mic was disruptive at any point. This thing's usually pretty good, but so one thing I'd like to add for people as well is, if you really want your country back, if you really want to live in the great country that we've known for so long, you have to be in a position where you understand that you need to donate resources. What I mean by resources, I'm not just talking about money. I'm saying donate whatever it is that you can help to the cause. So if that's your time, great. If it's not your time and if it's money, great. If it's just you being able to at least just talk to one person that can make an impact, great. Figure out what you can personally do to really help the cause overall, because every little bit of effort from a lot of people becomes a big effort, and it can really help us, in this process. So I just want to add that little thing in there.
No, I love that, because everything that we're talking about, everything Bella, Ross, and Wes literally just said is in this document. Number one, the first thing you do is investigate, and we give you the website. We teach you how to find those people. Number two is engage, which is what Bella talked about on social media. We give you a little mini phone script of exactly what to say when you're going to call your mayor, because they need to know that we're watching them and we are going to keep them accountable. If you let your child do whatever the hell they wanted to do their entire life, and you never let your kid, and you never kept your kid accountable, you're going to have your children that are going to take advantage of you every single chance they can get. And that's what has happened with our local politicians, is that we have not kept them accountable, so they feel like they can do whatever the hell they want. And kudos to them. I probably would do the exact same thing if I was in their corrupt ass. So again, we have to, so number two is engage. Number three is mobilize, which is exactly what Wes said. You might not be able to give your time or money, but you can maybe let someone know that does, and encourage them to do that and get involved here. And so these are the 3 steps. We talk about it in this PDF. Seriously, go to speaktruthwithoutfear.com and put in your email. We send it to you right away. And then seriously, make copies, send it to everybody, email it to everybody, spread the word, because this is how we take our country back day by day. And Bella, I love what you said. Let's say Trump does get back in office. That doesn't mean we go to sleep. We step on the gas and we finish the job. We have to take over school boards. We got to take over teacher unions. We need teachers to rise up, like conservative teachers to rise up, because they are literally teaching the next generation. And so again,
and we need to defend them, because, you know, a lot of them feel like they're ostracized. They can't. They feel like they're going to lose. And if they've got our community behind them, letting them know, like, no, parents support you. Maybe teachers would feel more comfortable talking and, you know, rising up and doing what's right, which is what we need more of.
Exactly. So, all right.
And don't let not having kids stop you, because I don't have kids and I'm heavily involved with the school board. So just in case there's people out there, well, I don't have kids, so it doesn't matter. It absolutely matters. And you know, everyone should get involved.
Well, and honestly, if you don't have kids, I mean, you should be out there for the next generation, because you have more time than the parents do. And so, like, be a voice for the parents that can't step up. So we got 5 minutes left. Again,
I gotta jump off here to get everything ready for the next one.
Yeah.
But guys, it was real. I'll see you guys with Nurse Erin in about 5-10 minutes or so, and looking forward to it. Bella, I'll hit you up in the DMs. We'll talk more soon.
Sounds good. Talk to you, Ross.
See you, Wes. See you, Jordan.
So in 5 minutes, we're gonna have another Instagram live. We're gonna go over to Ross DeVos's Instagram account. I'm gonna be there, and also Nurse Erin. We're gonna talk a lot about what's going on in the medical side and COVID, and I'm sure we're gonna get into it. But again, and as well, our podcast tomorrow morning is going to come out with Wake Up with Linda, and then we'll have another one coming out on Friday with Ross. Real quick, Bella, Wes, final thoughts. We'll go with the lady first. Bella.
Yeah, just, you know, same thought as always that I drew, and everyone get involved. It was best you can. You know, if that means, you know, online, one of the most powerful things that you can do is donate your time. It's not even about money, grassroots. That's what it's made about. So if you're not running for local politics, then find the person that aligns with your values that is, and donate your time, knock on doors, campaign for that person. That's going to be a lot more important than waving a Trump flag.
Come on. So true. Wes.
Absolutely. I'll second what Bella said. And I'll just say, yeah, our voices are extremely important. We want to use those voices. Real change happens when we start changing policy. And when we really start focusing on that, we're going to see even those little changes are going to add up to really, really big changes. So just like Bella said, support who you can support. Anybody who you see is actively doing this, make sure you support them in any way that you can. And that's enough to be doing your part to really help this cause.
So true. I love it. Again, Bella and Wes, thank you so much for you guys coming on and making this happen. Again, my Instagram is Jordan Sarmo. I'm on the Speak Truth one right now because I have been banned of going live. So if you want to follow me, you guys can follow me at Jordan Sarmo. Bella, Wes, I love both you guys. We'll be talking this whole week.
Having me on, Jordan. Always.
Love you too, brother.
Love you guys. Thank you for having me on, Jordan.